I recently made some new window shades. That one and those three. And they're great, they're wonderful. The problem is being right next to my bed, they are making my bedspread look a little bit lackluster. So I thought, maybe I'll just make some new throw pillows. That might be a nice improvement. I was picturing white with a ruffle around the edge. And then I saw this promotional photo for Sabrina Carpenter's new album. Look at this. Look at this. The curtains are basically the same as mine, and as if the audacity wasn't enough, she decides to read my mind and copy my idea for a throw pillow. Copying me before I've even done the thing. The audacity. So you know what I decided? I'm just gonna go ahead and be petty and copy her. So there.
That's nice. Now onto the pillow cover. Strike that. First, an actual pillow must be constructed. I could purchase one, but, well, maybe just a bit impractical, especially because I already have some throw pillows that I can simply skin and reform. They've actually been through this process before, a couple times. These are both 16 by 16, and I would like my new pillow to be 10 by 18, so one pillow has plenty of stuffing for me to work with. A new skin is necessary to hold the stuffing in. For this, I like to use an old bed sheet. This is an excellent opportunity to use that creased, needle-stabbed section at the top of the bed sheet because this part of the pillow won't be visible. Since I decided on a 10 by 18 throw pillow, I needed to cut out two 11 by 19 inch pieces. I just add 1 inch to the ultimate dimensions so that I will have a 1/2 inch seam allowance on all sides. Then I simply sew all the sides up, leaving one little opening big enough for the stuffing to fit through. And I make certain to press the seam allowances of the opening so that it's easier to stitch it closed. So now all I have to do is transplant the innards of this into this. Once it is filled, the opening can be closed. This can be accomplished by hand stitching or by machine, whichever you prefer. And there it is. And now, the pillow cover. I would need a piece that was, once again, 11 by 19 inches, same as the pillow skin, but only one piece with those dimensions because this cover was to have an envelope closure. So the back needed to be divided into 2 pieces with a couple extra inches for overlap. I cut out 2 pieces that were 12.5 by 10 inches. They would be attached to the front piece like so, with the back pieces folded over 2 inches on each side. I just fold it over 1 inch, press, and then 1 more inch, press again, and then secure it with a straight stitch. And the same on the other back piece. This is the front of the pillow cover, and now I simply lay one of the back pieces on top, matching the edges, and the other back piece on the other side, overlapping nicely. And I will sew all along the edges, and this space will serve as the opening to pull it all through. But before I can stitch it all together, I have to add a ruffle. And before I can add it, I have to make it. I wanted my ruffle to be 2 inches wide, so I needed the pieces to be 5 inches, because I would be folding it in half, and then taking up a 1/2 inch seam allowance. I just cut several strips of about 5 inches wide and 50 inches long. To figure out the length, you just need to measure what you're going to fit the ruffle into and then decide what type of ruffle you want, subtle, average, or very ruffly. The general rule with gathering is 1.5 times is a subtle ruffle, 2 times is a good amount of ruffle, and 3 times would be an extra ruffle. Of course, this rule figuratively flies out the window when you start talking about different fabric types. For this project, I'm working with a medium to lightweight cotton, so here I opted for just a little more than 2 times. 1, because I like a good ruffle, and 2, it just worked best to cut it that way in order to not end up with a bunch of little pieces of fabric. Waste not. Actually, I wouldn't waste them, but my pile of scraps is getting a little bit out of control. Then I just pinned all those 3 pieces together end to end and also stitched them together, making sure to press the seams flat. I ended up with a long toilet paper looking circle that I proceeded to fold in half and press. A gathering stitch was necessary, but as it was to span the length of roughly 150 inches, I ran the gathering stitches in sections. A little more time consuming as to stitching, but saves time on the actual pulling up of stitches to fit, and less stress about thread breakage. Before I attached the ruffle, I had some slight alterations to make. Cutting the pieces with right angles was simply easier, but ultimately I wanted the pillow cover edges to be soft and not such severe right angles, so I adjusted those corners. Then I could insert the ruffle. To make sure the ruffle was evenly ruffled, I divided the cover into sections with chalk, and did the same with the ruffle. Then I just matched all those points, pulled up the gathers to fit, and secured them with almost all of the pins in my pincushion. I attached the ruffle to the front piece only first, instead of sandwiching the back pieces on top and sewing it all at the same time, which you could totally do, but there's more chance of making a mistake that way, so I like to attach the back pieces as a second step. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Just lay the back pieces right on top, sandwiching the ruffle in the middle, pin it together, and sew all along the edges. A quick inside to outside moment, or outside to inside, depending on how you look at it. And it was finally time to introduce the reborn pillow to its new home. The pillow cover. The pillow cover is its new home. You get it. Why am I explaining myself? So that's how you make Sabrina Carpenter's pillow. If I were to complete the pillow with the words, mine wouldn't say short and sweet. It would say average and snarky. What would your pillow say? I know this video is focusing on the pillow, and I do like how it turned out, but I'm really loving the blouse. I didn't think it would turn out so good. I do want to say to whomever designed the wardrobe and the set for this photo, love it. Pillow, curtains, blouse, you have really good taste.
So I'm just noticing that my kitty's bed does not quite fit the vibe. So